Well, thank you, Lord Mayor, for accepting Tianzuo Media's interview.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
The recent 2 years were magnificent for Brisbane as success of the G20 Leaders Summit last November and the 2015 APCS and Mayors Forum a month ago. Lord Mayor, in your opinion, what is the matter of great significance of the two important events mean in terms of economic growth, social progress, and enhancing the international prestige of Brisbane?
Well, both the G20 and the Asia-Pacific City Summit gave Brisbane an opportunity to showcase itself to world leaders in the case of G20, as well as the 3,000 international media corps that were in Brisbane. And the Asia-Pacific City Summit, of course, opened up the business opportunities that exist in our city to civic leaders, leaders in city government from around the Asia-Pacific and beyond. So this is opportunities which I believe will have a long-lasting economic impact on Brisbane. It also allowed people to see the livability of our city, the way in which the social cohesion exists in Brisbane. As we know, our city is one where 27% of our population were born overseas. And I think that world leaders and leaders of city government in the Asia Pacific were able to see the social cohesion that does exist within our city.
At the G20 Leaders Summit last November, the G20 group signed the Brisbane Action Plan in addition to a joint communique. These two documents set up a number of goals such as improving macroeconomic cooperation, improving and fostering investment, boosting trade and lifting employment, etc. However, for Brisbane, we do concern the issues about increasing and fostering investment and lifting employment. Lord Mayor, what actions has the City Council already taken so far to achieve the goals in such areas?
Well, immediately after the G20, I asked our Economic Development Board, Brisbane Marketing, to look at what we could do to maximise the opportunities out of the G20 experience. Now, that has resulted in a new document called Brisbane 2022 New World City to look at the industry base that we have. So it says, for example, that we are a city which is very dependent upon mining and resources-based industries, but we need to broaden the base of our economy. So we want to grow things like the digital economy, the creative sector, professional services, knowledge-based industries, advanced manufacturing, as well as the agribusiness opportunities that exist in our city. It also says that we have been strong in building and construction, and we want to continue to grow that opportunity.
In 2013, the City Council introduced the Digital Brisbane strategy. People have witnessed that hundreds and thousands of businesses have been benefited from this program. For example, online services and Wi-Fi coverage in urban areas. In a macroeconomic perspective, it seems that Brisbane's development planning towards tilting towards digitalisation. Lord Mayor, what is it? Where is your focus for the next step, and how do you anticipate the future digital Brisbane?
Well, Brisbane was the second city in the world to engage a chief digital officer, New York being the first. Now, our digital transformation journey is about doubling the number of businesses in our city that sell goods and services online over the next 5-year period. So we're out there engaging with everyone from mum and dad, small businesses, right through to the major businesses in our city. And it's one of a series of initiatives. Another is we're wanting to double the number of young people that are engaged in a program called Coder Dojo. That's where we're teaching young people between 7 and 17 years of age the art of coding. So that will become incredibly important into the future. They're the future jobs. We're also looking at things like, for example, the free Wi-Fi component in the city. So we undertook some free Wi-Fi before G20, And we are now in the process of creating a free Wi-Fi opportunity throughout the whole of the CBD. So people can stay connected when they visit our city. It will be good for business, and again, it's an important part of the transformation. All of our libraries offer free Wi-Fi. All of our major parks offer free Wi-Fi as well in our city.
Recently, you appointed Honorary Ambassador of Brisbane to Mr. S.Y. Lau, Senior Executive Vice President of Tencent and President of its online media group. Why him? Is it because he is an online media elite and could provide assistance in the digital Brisbane strategy?
Well, S.Y. Lau was first invited to come to Brisbane in an event called the Global Cafe, and this event was one which occurred as part of the G20 Summit. Since then, we invited him back as a keynote speaker at the Asia Pacific City Summit. And the reason that he's been asked to be an ambassador for the city is because, he felt very connected. He was impressed with our digital strategy, and he had an affinity. He showed that he was a person who was wanting to talk Brisbane up in his journeys globally. Since then, S.Y. Lau has been named as Media Person of the Year through the Cannes Film Festival, and that's an important role that he will now have. He shares that role with many big names in the digital space. And so S.Y. Lau, we believe, will help to promote Brisbane in his role as ambassador, help to say how Brisbane is a new world city and one which is very much about digital transformation as a city.
Many cities around the world, including Brisbane, have been prophesied the next possible Silicon Valley. Lord Mayor, do you think Brisbane will be the next? If so, what are the significant potentials of Brisbane?
Well, I don't know whether we're ever going to be the next Silicon Valley, but I would say this, that we have, as part of our economic development plan going forward, a determination to create incubators and great opportunities for startups. Not only startups in the digital space, but startups more broadly. We want innovative thinkers. We want people that are going to create opportunities and the new jobs here in our city. So to that extent, you will see a lot of action from this council over the next year or two in particular to create a good environment where people with innovations can come together. In the last year alone, our city has gone from 85th place to 60th place on the World Index of Innovative Cities. We're in the top 15% of innovative cities in the world. And so that is something that we want to keep transforming, making sure that innovation is the hallmark of our city and our smart thinking for the future.
In 2009, the City Council introduced a new concept, Brisbane, Australia's New World City. Some sources said that it was only a slogan for marketing promotion. However, it is still going on and is accepted by the whole world. What does Brisbane, Australia's New World City, really mean? In other words, how do you identify or define it?
Well, I guess Brisbane is a lifestyle city, but we initially put the tag Brisbane, Australia's New World City in place because we wanted it to be a way of thinking. In other words, when a new building is constructed, when anything is being done in our city, we have to ask ourselves, is this new world? So it was about asking the question, is it something that is going to add value to our city, create the city of the future, one which will be attractive to tourists and investors? And so New World City has now become a term that world economists are discussing. What is a New World City? What does it mean? And we have been put in with other cities in this, what we might call new emerging global cities. That's essentially what it means. These are cities that are on the move, cities that are showing a high level of energy and momentum in terms of their place in the world. And places like Tel Aviv and Shenzhen And many other cities like those examples are what we are talking about. These are not the Londons or the New Yorks or the Beijings that are world cities. These are the second-tier cities that are emerging as the new form of global city.
Brisbane and China have maintained very good relations in all fields since the establishment of diplomatic relations between Australia and China. The economic and trade cooperation between Brisbane and China developed very quickly, particularly in the recent years. However, great potentials are seen for deepening the cooperation in areas of investment, education, and tourism. In addition, it is also emphasized in the Brisbane Economic Development Plan 2012 to 2031 that Brisbane will further improve the cooperation with China. Lord Mayor, how would you like to outline the future business cooperation between Brisbane and China? What positive measures will be adopted to attract investment from China?
Well, Brisbane has set its place very firmly in the Asia-Pacific region, and China is an extremely important part of that region as one of the big economies. We've developed two sister city relationships in China. It is the only nation in the world where we have two sister city relationships. And they are, of course, with Shenzhen and the city of Chongqing. But last year alone, for example, we saw visitations to Brisbane from China reach 156,000 people. That's up 22% on the previous year. And so this growth is going to continue. Now, the more people that are coming to Brisbane and seeing what our offering is, the more people are also investing in our city. We've seen some of the big banks, the Bank of China, the Construction Bank of China also come to our city, and so more and more there is this engagement. Big investors also are very much a part of Brisbane, and it was interesting to note recently the announcement of Destination Brisbane, the new entertainment precinct, casino complex at Queen's Wharf. That was a consortium between Brisbane-based company and also companies out of Hong Kong and China.
Lord Mayor, you are the household name in the Brisbane Chinese community. All those whom we know have friendly feelings for you. What expectation or message would you like to deliver to the Brisbane Chinese community?
Well, I just say thank you to the Chinese community of Brisbane for all that they do for our city, for all the ways in which they help to promote Brisbane as a part of Team Brisbane. And also the tremendous engagement they have had investing in our city, creating growth opportunities. And so I just express a view of gratitude to them. I try on every occasion to make them feel very welcome in our city, and I do that because I know they're making a great contribution to Brisbane.
Well, thank you for your time, Lord Mayor.
谢谢。